Greetings to you all, and welcome to this little challenge within Genshin Impact, featuring Kazuha. We're going to be taking Kazuha, and we are going to be fighting each of the 3 original weekly bosses, or one by one, in a solo fight. It will be a C0 Kazuha fighting solo against the bosses, and let's see how he does once we've finished observing the stone chair. Kazuha versus Stormterror Dvalin. May battle commence. Okay, so we're starting off with Stormterror, the easiest of the 3. And this screen is just me demonstrating that I am definitely playing it on the hardest mode. You could tell that because you'd be able to see the level of Dvalin once we're actually in the fight, but there you go, full clarity. So I have a little sub-game with Dvalin. I like to see if I can complete it without taking any damage at all, a perfect, if you will, or flawless victory, depending on your persuasion for fighting games. Dvalin is basically a DPS check? I mean, check's not even right. He's just a DPS challenge, I suppose. The more damage you do, the faster you kill him. But basically everything works on him as far as damage goes, unless you have some kind of burst that glitches you under his neck, which does happen. But with Kazuha, it's just a case of whacking him whenever he's vulnerable, using all of your skills off cooldown. Nothing fancy. So long as you know how to evade all of his attacks, you'll be fine. There is something interesting coming up here, though. You'll like this. Maybe, I don't know. I'll just imagine you'll like this. If you're watching this video, you're probably quite nerdy for Genshin, so you'll probably like this. This ground deals damage, in case people don't know. But Kazuha doesn't need to run on the ground. The frame you land, you can use your E to make yourself airborne once again. And then I don't know if you can get crazy unlucky and take damage in that one frame, but presumably it's not going to happen. Didn't for me. So I managed to cover the cracked ground without taking any damage over time as well, which was nice. Reoccurring problem you're going to see with Kazuha. I can't make any elemental reactions happen just by myself. I'm still going to be using my E because it does good damage and it sets me up for a plunge attack, which also does good damage. So it's still worth using. Also builds energy for my ultimate, which deals not too much damage in of itself, but it is damage over time, so you just leave it going and it adds up.
Clouds high, the bird, wind strike.
His abilities still look arguably the best of any abilities in the game. Arguably, he's up there. But that's Stormterror. Kazuha versus Childe, or possibly Tartaglia. May battle commence. Okay, so next up is Childe. I will be calling him Childe because Tartaglia is a stupid name. So Childe he is.
This opportunity is quite hard to
Also, it makes it sound like I'm mocking you, doesn't it, Childe?
Surrender is a valid option. I promise I'll be gentle.
Now, I don't know the technical names of these, but his water form, as I'm going to call it here, you shouldn't really take any damage. All of his attacks are very easily avoided just by running circles around him. One nice thing about Kazuha, when he sets up his water shield, which is a sort of cone shape around him, Kazuha's E actually gets over it. You may have noticed when you fight him, you get stuck hitting his barrier for ages if he won't put it away.
Try this.
Kazuha can get around that somewhat, so that's nice.
Passable effort.
I have no idea why it looked like a fire explosion went off there. A fire swirl. It didn't.
Not bad.
But it looked like it. It was very red.
Wind strike.
Okay, delusion child. This one I'm a little less confident on. The bow attacks are very slow and telegraphed. The lightning attacks are a lot quicker. One thing I'm being aware of in this fight is I'm deliberately trying not to overuse charged attacks. I mean, I'm using them quite a bit because they do more damage, but I don't want to go crazy with the charged attacks because I do need stamina in order to dodge. What's this thing called? Foul Legacy, I think? Don't worry, my eyes just gave out for a second there. I couldn't gauge the range.
Time to go. Wind strike.
Curses.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
Now we will get random elemental infusions against Childe, just because he infuses himself with Electro, which is actually bad for us because he resists electric damage, I'm fairly confident. And so I'd rather it stayed... No, wait, I'm talking absolute nonsense. It's additional damage on top of the animo. Yes, it's fine. It's just bonus damage. Look at me, I don't even know how the characters work. You can try to be fancy and dodge attacks with your E, but I tried it a bit, and in my experience, it doesn't go well. Sometimes it works and you look really cool. Sometimes you just get hit out the sky and you look like a dunce. More practice required.
Clouds high. The birds call.
Go for the stylish finish. Doesn't quite make the damage. We'll find style in our own way. Let's force it. Nice. Kazuha versus Andrius, Dominator of Wolves. Let battle commence. Okay, so now on to our final battle against Andrius. I'm not used to saying his name. I call him Wolf, or the Wolf. But Andrius is his name, and we shall try to use it, because we are polite like that. And believe it or not, Andrius is actually the hardest of the three for Kazuha to fight. You'd think it would be Childe, because he is much later in the story, and just generally more difficult. But Andrius is completely immune to animo damage. So I can't use my E or my Q. I mean, I can, but it doesn't do anything. So I will keep my Q in case I need to use the invulnerability frames it offers to dodge an attack. Other than that, I'm just full physical here. And I'll be honest, I don't know the best way to optimize Kazuha's attack. I haven't sat down and calculated it. To me, it feels like you either want to cancel your double slash into a charged attack, or the hit after the double slash into a charged attack. There's not much to talk about here. If he does his ice tail whip, you just run out of the ice ring, and if he does his basic paw, you just get hit by it like that. No, you just do a dodge in any direction and use the invulnerability it gives you. But you see here in my attack chain, the hit after the double slash has a higher multiplier on it. That one. It tends to do more damage. So I think getting that hit out before cancelling into charge attack is probably worth it, but I don't know. Someone else will know. As everyone knows, there's only one thing you should do with a dog when he's got a bit too much energy. That's right, you give him a ball. Ungrateful creature. Getting some cheeky damage there, but not much. Important to forget that you get pushed back here and swing wildly at the air. It's probably the most frightening part of the fight, because you're going to need to use a lot of stamina to dodge the icicles that are falling, but also Andrius himself will start attacking you as the icicles are falling, so you tend to just run out of stamina here, like so. But it's my fault, I've been using charged attacks and I shouldn't be. I should be conserving stamina. Now my memory of fighting Andrius in this form is that you have to go really fast because you start summoning those spirit wolves that get you and that they're really annoying. But this is obviously a very slow kill, and I found it just... I don't know, he takes his sweet time to summon them, so I assume it's health-based rather than time-based. But they're coming. He doesn't have his ice tail sweep anymore, so we don't have to run out of his AoE. We can stay point blank and dodge everything. Here come the wolves. You see, that one actually hit me, despite what it looked like. At this point I'm staying near his rear end, make him keep kicking. It seems to make him summon fewer wolves. I don't know if that's a thing, but it worked for me. And voila. Now we shall celebrate. Slowly. So there you go, that's Kazuha defeating 3 weekly bosses, and for some mysterious reason I skipped Ajdaha. Now, why on earth would I do that? But what was the purpose of this video? Was it to show you that Kazuha is actually some secret top tier DPS? No. The purpose of this video was to show you that if you learn the fights and do the fights properly, there isn't much in this game that's particularly difficult. Spiral Abyss is somewhat difficult because you're on a timer, but for the general world and things, you can pretty much play whoever you want. And this answers the question of should you pull for Kazuha, because you may have heard that he's not technically the best character in the game, but you might like him. Does it matter that he's not the best? Not really, no. But hey, that's just my opinion, and I like playing Kazuha, so I'm happy that I pulled him. I suppose I should wrap this up just by showing off my Kazuha stats. I deliberately kept them somewhat low, so that people can't use the defense of, oh, your Kazuha's only doing well because he's so over-leveled. So he's level 90, which is the max, and that's not over-leveled. But I think we can all get to 90, right? Hopefully. Talents I kept at 666. I could have pushed them further, but not everyone has a good stock of these gilded scales because it's, you know, this hasn't been a drop for very long. So I could have taken that further, but I left it just at 666, so you wouldn't need any of those. And I am at C0 with my Kazuha. I did all of the fights without using any food items because that's kind of lame. My artifacts are nothing special. I set myself up for a physical build, which you should never do with Kazuha really. But if you're playing Kazuha solo and you don't have any elemental reactions, then physical is the only thing left. My artifacts are not very good. I did not use my best artifacts by any stretch. We've got double crit, nothing else. Just crit. Awful. Attack percent, 1 crit stat. Physical damage bonus, attack stat, very low roll. 27% defense though. Crit rate, no good substats. So my artifacts are not good. My weapon is a 5-star. It is the Aquila Favornia, which is a good sword, a very good sword for physical damage builds, but it is R0, R1, what do you call this? Unupgraded. How do I show this? Refined. Non-refined. Rank 1. There you go. It's a good sword. It speeds things up quite a bit because the damage numbers are higher, but you know, if you use prototype ranker, it would be somewhat similar. It would be worse, but somewhat similar. So there you go, my character isn't crazy, he's not super strong, and yet he did the bosses solo, which is not what the character is supposed to do, because he's supposed to support and create elemental reactions with other characters, not how you're supposed to play the game in any way, shape or form, and yet still, everything was doable with a character that's not particularly strong. So, hey-ho, there you go. I've been Tartaglia Omega, thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll join me for something else that I make on the channel. Go and explore, there's good stuff. Hopefully you'll join me for that, and I shall see you then.